do you make a game like Grow Garden 2 and Roblox Studio? And since Grow Garden 2 prominently features a stealing mechanic, you will likely also have to think about a day-night cycle system like this one at some point. So today let's discuss just that inside Roblox Studio. So we're inside Roblox Studio now, inside this experience we pretty much use over the course of this entire series. And the day-night system we'll be discussing will largely resemble this one, like this one. There you go. So in order to create this, let's create a dedicated script for it, like so, inside server script service. If you like, you can also rename it day-night cycle, for instance. And as always, there are more performant ways to do this, but let's keep it simple for now. So when selecting this lighting system here, we can see this clock time attribute, which is exactly what we can modify in order to create this nighttime sensation or vibe to it. But instead of doing this manually, we essentially want to do it automatically, which is why we use a script for it. And now inside here, we can get access to the lighting system like this, as well as to the run system. This is how we can set a default time then. And the run system comes with this handy heartbeat function. It's essentially more or less of a equivalent to those two things you sometimes see. But this is just meant to be an example. With this one, in case you're interested in comparison, being slightly more performant and also having minimal delay, and also at a smarter location when it comes to this, visual rendering, physics interpretation kind of cycle, like Roblox's internal processes. But now let's have a look real quick. So empty print messages all over the place, good. But now the clock time, why did it disappear? Well, just because I selected the wrong thing, no worries. And yeah, now you can see it saying 8 here, good. And this bright bloom effect has popped up because it needed some time to load, which is normal on Roblox, good. So up here we can define the hours per second as a separate variable, like this for instance. So this means each day will take 60 real-life seconds. You can also structure those settings differently, like I do my template you can find in the description. Now inside here we can update the clock time, the same attribute we set at the very start, and set it to the premium value, so we increment it gradually at a small portion of this new variable. The reason why we multiply here is in order to make up for this inaccuracy this function has. So if it takes longer to run this update function the next time, then this will be larger, like bigger, so the increment will be higher, and vice versa. If the server is being extra fast, this will be smaller conversely to make up for it. And I think this is optional, but by taking modulus 24, we can have it cycle around this 24 hours. Because, similar to elementary school, it takes the remainder. So 12 modulus 24 equals 12, so nothing changes. But then as soon as we hit 25 for instance, or whatever fraction, it starts at 0 or 1 in my case again. Awesome, so let's give this a try now. So no shadows yet because of the rendering process. Oh yeah, there you go. Excellent. But this isn't any type of game, it's a game similar to Grow Garden 2. So, once we want to implement the stealing mechanic, we will have to also find a way to figure out whether it is night right now. So how can we do this? Well, we can add a new remote function to replicated storage, for instance. The first time we do on this channel, I think, rename it to get is night. So this thing is essentially a signal we can fire from client and listen to it, react to it on the server, and also send a value back. So the client can essentially ask the server, is it night right now? And it responds with true or false, yes or no. So now we can get access to it like so. In our hierarchical case, I guess, then assign a new server function to this remote function object, i.e. this one, and then we just return whether this statement is true or not, with this one being, the time and using the 24-hour format. And let's say in my case I want to define night as a time past 6 PM and before 6 AM. If you left this out, you will have to slightly adapt this statement here. You can also, go with a boolean value like this, like we did with the timed events in our Grow Garden 1 series. We will likely also do this time, and just, set its value here. But, in this case, I'd like to show you this method, because this way, it's interesting to see both variants, and this way we also don't need to check this, like evaluate this boolean statement each and every time we run this function down here. You might argue people can also spam this, but Roblox has limitations for that. And also they, kind of mess around with their own Wi-Fi then, like bandwidth. So let's remove this again. If you would like to test this real quick, you can add a new local script to start a character scripts, for instance, which are being run every time the character respawns as opposed to just the player script. And then inside here you can get access to it the same way. And for instance, go with our other method again, and each second print the result of triggering this signal, which the server can then react to in any way at once, essentially. Though when it comes to remote and bindable functions, and in contrast to events, you can only define them once, like this. And if you want to pass arguments here, always keep in mind the first one when it comes to client to server events or function is always the player, like automatically. Alright, so now let's figure out what happens. Good start. So, okay. Alright, so in my case I actually wanted to do a bindable function, so server to server. If you would still like to test this, you can just replace this by onServer invoke, and make sure not to mess up the name like I just did. Alright. So daytime so far. So Slenderman, shadow I guess, good. And there it says true now. Awesome. Oh, and I will also be putting this entire Roblox file onto the description for you to download. And now if you want to convert this to a bindable function, so next episode we can retrieve whether it is nighttime or not from the server's plot script, for instance, we can just remove this object and replace it with a bindable function, change the name again, and replace this with onInvoke. And I also like to change this to BF for bindable function. And this is how you can test it from a server script, like another server script. You obviously need to get access to it beforehand. Make sure this works nonetheless, so no player transmit or anything like it, unless you want to pass any argument manually. And then obviously if you would like me to go more into detail on how the plot system, for instance, you can always click at the top right. So where we're at, good, great. And yeah, where to spend a night better than on some shops' roofs, I guess. But for now, let's better remove this again, so we can re-add it next episode to keep it like more relatable then. And this as well. And this is how you can essentially add a day-night cycle to your Grow Garden 2 like game or whatever game you plan to make. If you need help with any of this, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, you can also always check out my modular Roblox systems or framework in the description. And I'll see you, I guess, next time the moon rises.